rights, the right to education, the right to well-being, and of course many other rights that are embedded in the president's address to the nation today. What is your reading of what the head of state said?
Well, once more, Mr. Babila, permit me to tell you here, and your viewers, that at least I applaud the message of His Excellency President Paul Biya, because I think it touched most of the sensitive points or issues that need to be addressed, no matter we're expecting that need to be addressed by Cameroonians, even though most of these speeches, because the speeches are just repeated speech almost every year. I think there's nothing changed from what the president has been saying that he just said today, because what we have been yearning for is that the president, we want a president that will be able to make speeches that will respect their speeches, because he talked here about some of the issues like this agricultural program that we stated that we should not only rely on job employment, on white-collar job. Can equally go to the young Cameroonian can equally go to the farm and do whatsoever. Actually, there are so many initiatives that have been put in place by the President of the Republic with regard to that, but nothing or little is being done to monitor, to ensure that these things are done in a transparent manner. But most of these things are always done in a very complicated way. If you are not, you don't know somebody closer to the system or those who are working with regard to this initiative, you will never be a beneficiary to regard to it. And I would expect the president to discuss or tell us more about the social or the social injustice or the security and peace situation in Cameroon, because the majority of those who are suffering the issue of who are not at peace or who are suffering the issue of insecurity in Cameroon is the young Cameroonians, because most of those who are dying in northwest and southern region of Cameroon or in the far north region of Cameroon are young Cameroonians, or most of those who are suffering the injustices, they are victims of repeated illegal arrests and arbitrary detention are the youth in Cameroon in general. So the president is supposed to tell us how these things are done, because it's abnormal for us to witnessing to be in a country considered to be a state of law when we witness virtual citizens being arrested virtually on daily basis, so either for their involvement or for their involvement or for their participation in politics or for their civil engagement. So we Cameroonians are supposed to live free and ensure that everything goes free very well without any problem. And again, with regard to this issue, the president equally made mention here about this employment of 10,000 youth or those of the health sector, which he equally made it on his end of year speech, saying that he was going to ensure that very soon the project is on so that the issues should be employed. So my worry is always at least the issue of transparency in most of these things. It is true that some of the promises made by the president sometimes they are realized, but the problem now is that the president always put in front some group of people, those who are within the system, most of these aging people who already have a corrupt mentality, have a mentality that for everything to go well in Cameroon, you must do it in such a way that you will benefit first those who are closer to you. One of the greatest problems we have among most of these things is the issue of communication. Sometimes we have opportunity like this, like what the president just said, and if you are sometimes the way they communicate, they make it in such a way that many people at the end will not be able to have information that this thing that launched this thing and this how is being done, this how is being done. Sometimes it's just somebody who is within the area where those who are taking charge of this thing that will tell you from the back that no, go and do this, and at the end they still use the very same corrupt method. So the president to be able to monitor most of these things, ensure that these promises he made, once they launch it, make sure that it's monitored from the beginning to end to ensure that all Cameroonians benefit from it.
The president said that we have made achievement, we have made a formidable progress. Do you really think, does that reflect the reality on the ground in terms of job creation, in terms of education, in terms of training in higher institutions of learning, and closing the gap between the training that is delivered in institutions and the job market and things like that?
Well, I think enormous has been done with regard to education. Many Cameroonians has been, throughout the regime of President Paul Biya, many Cameroonians have been educated. For the issue of education has become more facilitated. But the problem now is giving opportunity to these students after the school. Because we realize that there are so many opportunities that things that ought to have been done by the President of the Republic to ensure that to improve the living condition of Cameroonians, of those students who leave school. So that it can prevent them from going out of the country or from doing some of these abnormal things that most youths are engaged on today. Because you see in a country like Cameroon, the president prefers to give 50,000 francs at the end of the year to students, calling it prime d'excellence, than to use the money. Because at the end of the year, you hear billions of francs of CFA being spent the same money that ought to have been used to create jobs for those Cameroonian ones that leave school. So they prefer to use it to distribute to Cameroon. The 50,000 will never help you as a student. The 50,000 will never help you. That cannot you only pay your fee. And the most important thing when you are maybe at a level of university is not the school fee. There are a lot of things to pay house rent and your daily needs and all that like that will cost you a lot. So the president has actually done his own best, but I think it is high time for us to Cameroonians or the youth to make reasonable, as the president rightly said, make reasonable decision on the right whom we think will better take the destiny of this our nation for the next 7 years to come.
Right, maybe we go to the other side to
voilà.
Obama.
Yves Obama, justement le président, aujourd'hui vous l'avez suivi de bout en bout. D'aucuns ont dit avant vous, comme l'impression que le président est déjà en campagne, au point de discréditer même les autres qui pourraient éventuels candidats à la présidentielle.
Non,
que répondez-vous à ça?
Je réponds que chacun est libre de recevoir le discours présidentiel comme il veut.